the pantheon of martial arts cinema, few names command as much respect and recognition as Bruce Lee and Bolo Yeung. These two legendary fighters, who actually shared the screen in Enter the Dragon 1973, represent different philosophies and approaches to combat that have captivated audiences for decades. Bruce Lee, the philosophical warrior who revolutionized martial arts cinema, stands opposite Bolo Yeung, the intimidating powerhouse whose imposing presence struck fear into opponents and audiences alike. Bruce Lee's impact on martial arts and popular culture cannot be overstated. His lightning-fast strikes, philosophical approach to combat, and charismatic screen presence made him an international icon who transcended cultural boundaries. Meanwhile, Bolo Yeung carved his niche as cinema's most formidable villain, his muscular physique and intense stare making him the perfect foil for heroic protagonists. Both men, in their prime, represented the pinnacle of martial arts excellence, each bringing unique strengths that would make a hypothetical confrontation between them absolutely electrifying. The cultural impact of both fighters extends far beyond their film careers. Lee inspired countless practitioners to pursue martial arts, while Bolo's imposing presence set the standard for martial arts antagonists. Their potential clash represents not just a meeting of two fighters, but a collision between different martial arts philosophies and fighting styles. Bruce Lee's fighting style was built on the foundation of Jeet Kune Do, his personal martial arts philosophy that emphasized the way of the intercepting fist. Lee's approach prioritized speed, timing, and efficiency over brute force. His legendary one-inch punch demonstrated how technique and precision could generate devastating power from minimal distance. Lee's fighting style incorporated elements from Wing Chun, boxing, fencing, and various other martial arts, creating a fluid and adaptable combat system. Lee's strengths lay in his incredible speed. His punches were so fast, they often couldn't be captured properly on film, requiring directors to ask him to slow down. His footwork was exceptional, allowing him to close distance rapidly or create space as needed. His philosophy of "be like water" meant he could adapt his style to counter any opponent, flowing around their defenses and finding openings with surgical precision. Bolo Yeung's fighting style was built around overwhelming physical power and psychological intimidation. Standing at 5'6", but weighing around 200 pounds of solid muscle, Bolo possessed the kind of raw strength that could end fights with single devastating blows. His background in bodybuilding gave him not just impressive musculature, but also the core strength and stability necessary for devastating strikes. Bolo's approach emphasized powerful, direct attacks that could break through defenses rather than circumvent them. His signature moves included crushing bear hugs, devastating hammer fists, and powerful kicks that could send opponents flying. Unlike Lee's fluid style, Bolo's technique was more methodical and deliberate, each strike calculated to cause maximum damage. The contrast between these fighting styles represents a classic martial arts debate: technique versus power, speed versus strength, philosophy versus intimidation. Lee's approach would likely focus on using Bolo's size and power against him, employing hit-and-run tactics while avoiding prolonged exchanges where Bolo's strength advantage would come into play. Conversely, Bolo would seek to corner Lee, using his reach and power to limit Lee's mobility and force close quarters combat where his physical advantages would be decisive. In a hypothetical encounter, the opening moments would be crucial. Lee would likely begin with his trademark bouncing stance, moving in and out of range while studying Bolo's patterns. His strategy would involve quick jabs and kicks designed to test Bolo's reflexes and defenses. Bolo, meanwhile, would advance methodically, using his intimidating presence to try to corner Lee against barriers or walls. Lee's speed advantage would be immediately apparent, with lightning-fast strikes that would force Bolo to rely more on blocking and absorbing damage than on counterattacking. However, Bolo's incredible conditioning and pain tolerance would allow him to weather Lee's initial assault while looking for opportunities to land his own devastating strikes. As the fight progressed, both fighters would begin adapting to each other's styles. Lee might employ more evasive tactics, using his superior footwork to stay mobile while landing quick combinations before retreating. His strategy would involve wearing down Bolo's stamina while avoiding the powerful counterattacks that could end the fight instantly. Bolo would likely adjust by cutting off escape routes and using feints to set up his power shots. His experience against quick opponents would serve him well, as he'd know that patience and ring management could eventually create opportunities to trap Lee in close quarters combat where his strength would be overwhelming. The final phase of this hypothetical battle would test both fighters' conditioning, will, and ability to execute under pressure. Lee's cardio and endurance training would likely give him an advantage in a prolonged fight, while Bolo would be looking to end things quickly with one decisive blow. This phase would showcase Lee's ability to maintain his speed even while fatigued, contrasted with Bolo's capacity to generate fight-ending power even in the later stages of combat. The outcome would likely depend on whether Lee could maintain his distance and mobility, or if Bolo could successfully close the gap and impose his physical will. Based on this comprehensive analysis of both fighters' tools, strengths, and weaknesses, Bruce Lee would likely emerge victorious in a prime versus prime encounter. While Bolo's physical advantages are undeniable, and he certainly possesses the power to end the fight with any solid connection, Lee's superior speed, conditioning, and tactical flexibility would ultimately prove decisive. Lee's ability to control distance and timing would allow him to accumulate damage while avoiding Bolo's most dangerous attacks. His superior cardiovascular fitness would enable him to maintain his speed advantage throughout the fight, while his mental approach to combat would help him find and exploit weaknesses in Bolo's more predictable attack patterns. However, this would be no easy victory. Bolo's power and intimidation factor would make every moment dangerous for Lee, and the margin for error would be incredibly slim. One mistake, one moment of fatigue, or one successful trap by Bolo could completely reverse the outcome. The hypothetical battle between Bruce Lee and Bolo Yeung represents more than just a fight between two skilled practitioners. It embodies the eternal struggle between different approaches to combat and life itself. Lee's philosophical approach to martial arts, emphasizing personal growth and adaptation, continues to influence fighters and thinkers today. Bolo's representation of raw determination and physical excellence serves as a reminder that sometimes overwhelming force can overcome technique. Both men left indelible marks on martial arts cinema and culture. Lee's influence extends far beyond fighting, touching on philosophy, fitness, and personal development. Bolo's imposing presence set the template for martial arts villains and demonstrated that physical intimidation remains a potent weapon in any fighter's arsenal. Their legacies continue to inspire new generations of martial artists and action stars, proving that the debate between technique and power, speed and strength will continue as long as humans seek to test themselves against one another in combat. While we can only speculate about who would have won this ultimate showdown, we can be certain that it would have been a battle for the ages, showcasing the very best of what martial arts cinema has to offer.